any vote that might lead to war should be hard. But I cast it with conviction.
I know that there have been a lot of questions about Iraq posed to candidates over the last weeks. I've made it very clear that I made a mistake, plain and simple.
Mr. Speaker, in the brief time I have, let me give you 5 reasons why I'm opposed to giving the President a blank check to launch a unilateral invasion and occupation of Iraq, and why I will vote against this resolution.
You are looking at a senator and a former congressman, and as a congressman, I voted against the war in Iraq.
I believe that marriage is not just a bond, but a sacred bond between a man and a woman.
I do not support gay marriage.
LGBT Americans are our colleagues, our teachers, our soldiers, our friends, our loved ones. And they are full and equal citizens and deserve the rights of citizenship. That includes marriage. That's why I support marriage for lesbian and gay couples. I support it personally and as a matter of policy and law.
Now, my ears may have been playing a trick on me, but I thought I heard the gentleman a moment ago say something, quote unquote, about homos in the military. Was I right in hearing that expression?
Absolutely. Putting homosexuals in the military.
You said something about homos in the military. Was the gentleman referring to the many thousands and thousands of gay people who have put their lives on the line in countless wars defending this country? Was that the group of people that the gentleman was referring to?
I'm talking about the military. People in the military do not support.
That's not what we were talking about. You used the word homos in the military. You have insulted thousands of men and women who have put their lives on the line.
I'm talking about you and liberals like you that keep.
I go out to high schools all over the state of Vermont. I go to the conservative parts of the state, and I ask the kids, I said, raise your hand. Tell me what you think about gay marriage. And kids kind of shrug their shoulders, and they say, what are you talking about? What is the big deal? Which is exactly what we've always wanted in the first place. What is the big deal? All right.
And let me also say, I will defend the Affordable Care Act.
We've got to defend the Affordable Care Act.
It is time that the United States of America join the rest of the industrialized world and guaranteed health care to all people as a right, not a privilege.
President, would you sign a bill, yes or no, please, in favor of allowing the Keystone XL pipeline?
This is President Obama's decision, and I am not going to second guess him because I was in a position to set this in motion, and I do not think that would be the right thing to do. So I want to wait and see what he and Secretary Kerry decide. If it's undecided when I become president, I will answer your question.
If you listen to what the scientific community is saying, overwhelmingly, is that climate change is real. It is caused by human activity. It is already causing devastating problems. So my response to Senator Hoeven is listen to the scientific community. We have got to, as a nation, lead the world in transforming our energy system away from fossil fuel and into energy efficiency and sustainable energy. Frankly, we will look like fools throughout the entire global economy if we are advocating more and more dirty oil at the same time as we're talking about the need to combat global warming. So we have got to defeat this Keystone Pipeline. We've got to rally the American people to do it, and we've got to get President Obama to be strong on this issue.
We need to fix our dysfunctional political system and get unaccountable money out of it once and for all, even if that takes a constitutional amendment.
And while Mrs. Clinton takes aim at the influence of money, she has not distanced herself from the several super PACs that are backing her, or the cast of wealthy donors who are also supporting her campaign.
In terms of the politics of America, as a result of this disastrous Citizens United Supreme Court decision, clearly the billionaires, Koch brothers and others, are owning the political process. They will determine who the candidates are. And let me say this thing. If elected president, I will have a litmus test in terms of my nominee to be a Supreme Court justice. And that nominee will say that we are going to overturn this disastrous Supreme Court decision on Citizens United, because that decision is undermining American democracy. I do not believe that billionaires should be able to buy politicians.
Hillary Clinton says she is going to have a super PAC, says she has to do it. She doesn't like it, but she has to do it to compete. What about that?
I understand where she's coming from. I will not have a super PAC. Look, we announced a week and a half ago, Bob, and since that time, we have had 200,000 people go to BernieSanders.com to sign up for the campaign. We've had close to 90,000 contributions. Do you know what the average contribution was? It's about $43, 43 bucks for middle-class working families. So I don't think we're going to outspend Hillary Clinton or Jeb Bush or anybody else. But I think we are going to raise the kinds of money that we need to run a strong and winning campaign.
So, I'm predicting that Hillary Clinton will run for the presidency in the USA in 2016. What am I basing my prediction on? I'm basing it off of the audiobook of hers that I listened to. It's her most recent book, hardly even written by her, titled Hard Choices. It was probably one of the most boring and buzzwordy books I've ever read. Every story had to have some moral to it, and she disclosed nothing. It was definitely the book of someone who plans to not offend or upset anyone who could possibly assist her in her campaign. So I may or may not be correct. But I sincerely don't want her to be my president, so I'm going to be doing a little series when I find the time. But this will be the first installment. The reason I don't want her to be my president is because she is going to try and capitalize on all of the feminist rhetoric up to this point. She has already said that government is a boys' club, when I detailed in a previous video that 100 of the 535 seats in Congress are women, 3 out of the 9 Supreme Court justices are women, and there was already a female Secretary of State before Hillary Clinton, namely Condoleezza Rice. There really is no reason for her to try and claim discrimination in that case. So, to everyone in the USA, here is Exhibit A and Exhibit B in my case against Hillary Clinton. More will follow in other videos. Exhibit A would be her debate with Rick Lazio for a New York Senate seat. Clinton had allegedly been taking a lot of soft money at that point. The difference between hard and soft money is, let's say, there's a political ad on television that says, "My opponent is bad, I am good, vote for me." Because it was telling you to vote for them in the election, it's regulated, and you can only send a certain amount. But if an ad runs that said, "Candidate B is bad, candidate A is good, be sure to vote in the next election," then there's no regulation, and the money can be collected by a specific party to put towards their candidate's campaign. Clinton and Lazio both agreed to ban soft money from their respective campaigns. Then they had a debate in which Lazio asked Hillary Clinton to sign something swearing that she hadn't taken any soft money. So here is that debate.
I want to give you another one. Here's a male-female one. Here's a moment when many people saw Rick Lazio give up any hope of beating Hillary Clinton in the Senate race by just again going into her space. A little too close.
Ms. Clinton, you want to respond?
Well, yes, I certainly do. You know, I admire that. That was a wonderful performance, and and you did it very well.
I'm not asking you to admire it. I'm asking you to sign it.
Well, I would be happy to when you give me the signed letters.
Right here.
Would you give me?
Right here. Sign it right now.
Well, we'll shake on this.
No, I want your signature because I think that everybody wants to see you signing something that you said you were for. I'm for it. I haven't done it. You've been violating it. Why don't you stand up and do something important for America while America is looking at New York? Why don't you show some leadership? Because it goes to trust and character.
And this new radio ad from the Republican Party using soft money is not part of your campaign?
Did everyone listen to the newscast before that? All that was talked about in this case was that Lazio walked up too close to Hillary Clinton. No one mentioned that she didn't sign it, that she tried to weasel her way out of signing it. The only thing that was talked about was how Lazio lost any chance of winning because he walked into her space. Let's listen to the rest of the newscast to see if there's anything of merit in there.
He looked like a process server there.
I mean, it was such a gimmick. It's like Rick Blasio fail. That is not okay. And clearly,
okay, male, female. Can a guy have to exercise particular restraint in entering her space?
Yeah, I mean, well, I think it's all almost oxymoronic. Women in politics are held to a different standard. They're scrutinized on the level of haircuts, emotive qualities. But you get on stage and you have an aggressive attitude towards a woman. I don't think the American audience appreciates or likes that or thinks highly of that kind of behavior.
Ron Reagan.
Yeah, that just absolutely doesn't read well, as it wouldn't in life. If two men are out on the street and one's poking his finger into the other man's chest, that reads a certain way. If one of those people is a woman and a man is poking his finger into the woman's chest, that reads an entirely different way, and it doesn't play well again on TV or anywhere else. Yeah, well, exactly.
Granted, it is MSNBC, so take that with a grain of salt. But be aware that she is going to try and capitalize on the bullshit feminist rhetoric that's become very prominent recently. She'll use the boys club term again, she'll say that she's scrutinized in ways her male counterparts aren't, she'll try to make it seem like she's the underdog for simply being a woman. That's probably going to be a major part of her campaign strategy, and she'll most likely have the feminist vote. So on to Exhibit B, where she lied about being under sniper fire in Bosnia during a visit there. She was trying to fluff up her diplomatic experience when being considered for the Secretary of State position during Obama's 2008 to 2012 term. Let's take a look.
It was supposed to be an example of Hillary Clinton's battle-tested experience.
I remember landing under sniper fire.
In the speech last week, Senator Clinton was referring to her visit to Tuzla, Bosnia in 1996 as First Lady. The brutal war was over, but hostilities continued. And though the trip was exactly 12 years ago tomorrow, the memories seemed etched in Clinton's mind.
There was supposed to be some kind of a greeting ceremony at the airport, but instead we just ran with our heads down to get into the vehicles to get to our base.
Problem is, that's not what happened. And we should know, CBS News accompanied the First Lady and daughter Chelsea on that Bosnia trip. That's Senator Clinton talking to me on the military flight into Tuzla. And these are the pictures we recorded of the greeting ceremony when the plane landed. Compare that to Senator Clinton's account.
I remember landing under sniper fire. There was no greeting ceremony, and we basically were told to run to our cars. Now that is what happened.
Thank you. There was no sniper fire either when Senator Clinton visited 2 Army outposts where she posed for photos, and no sniper fire back at the base.
Last night So she pulled that sniper fire completely out of the ether. And how did she try to weasel her way out of this blatant and obvious lie which CBS exposed? She claims that she misspoke, as detailed here by CNN. Please pause the video so you can read the entire screenshot. The article is linked below. Yeah, I mean, that happens to everybody. Everybody can misspeak and say, I landed under sniper fire and there was no greeting ceremony, we had to rush to find cover, when there in fact was no sniper fire, there was a greeting ceremony, and you did not need to rush to find cover. There is no way that could be a slip of the tongue. That is an outright lie. So thank you for watching. Don't vote for Clinton. Have a wonderful day.